Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Zemfira from Zemfira Games, and this is another episode of the Desert Wildlife Park. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to build this very cute and highly detailed sandcat habitat. The sandcat is another animal from the newest DLC, the Arid Animal Pack, and it will also be housed in the desert house that we are building right now. As you might have seen the latest episode, which was the porcupines. They are both in the desert house and they will of course get some other neighbors too. And we are slowly but surely coming to the end of the Arid Animal Pack animals, but don't you worry, we will add some other desert animals too to the zoo. So let's get started. As you can see here, this is the same building where the porcupines are in. And for now, I am just copying the walls that I did on the other side. I decided to not make any big details right now for this building because since I will build multiple more habitats in this house, I just want to make sure that I have the rough shape and the habitats finished before I start building like any big details in this house or on the outside, the entrance and stuff like that. Because I just want to make sure that before I make any details that everything is roughly finished from the sizing and stuff like that, so I don't have to rearrange details later, because I find it really frustrating sometimes when you are building beautiful details like on the outside of a building and later you see, okay, it's not fitting, and you just need to rearrange and rebuild some stuff. So I'm just saving myself some time and some nerves, and I will start building the desert house once we have, or like detailing the desert house once we have all the animals in here and all the habitats. There's probably going to be 6 habitat animals in here, and maybe some exhibit animals, but I'm not too sure right now. But I mean, we have some time. This is only the second animal right now, so I have enough time to figure stuff out and to see where the journey is going. So what was my thought behind the sandcat habitat? I of course did some research for the sandcat before I started building, not only for the vibe that I was going for, but also for the requirements, what they normally need. And I found out that sandcats are normally solitary animals, so they are normally alone in the wild and only come together in pairs in the mating season. In the Wikipedia it says we can have one male and one female. So I did that, but I wanted to give it a realistic look and decided to make the habitat into 2 parts that are connected to one another with these doors that I'm building like right now that you can see. So that in case they need to be separated, or they just don't want to hang out with each other since they are solitary animals, I wanted to have the opportunity to separate them. So I have this bigger habitat that I'm going to split into 2 parts, each having an indoor part and an outdoor part, and every cat is also going to have their own little like sleeping den in the shelter or the backstage area. So that was also quite a challenge, honestly, because the part that you are seeing right now was really good to build, but figuring out a way that was practical for the game itself and looked good, and would also be traversable for the animals to technically be separated, and also being able to go into the inside shelter was a little bit hard. I need to figure out something, but you're gonna see that a little later in this video when I start building the inside shelter. So as you can see here, I'm just building like the rough shape. What you have seen now was the inside part with the wall in between, and I just did fencing on the top part. I made sure to make it like super thin, the fencing, since the animals are really small, so they don't like get the paws in between the fences. So I made it extra fine. And also so that the air can circulate very well in this habitat. And of course I again used this blue background that I also used with the porcupines already to just mimic the look of the sky, and covered the lower part with some faux rocks. I just really loved the look like this in the porcupine habitat, so I just had to use it again here, and I'm really happy with the design. What also was really inspiring for me for this habitat was that I was in the zoo on Sunday. I was in the zoo in Cologne, and it was a really nice day. We had really nice weather, and it was pretty inspiring. And I also, of course, went there not only to have a nice day, but also to get some more inspiration. Not only because of the habitats, but also for like other stuff like fencing and barriers and inside shelters and staff areas and stuff like that, or architectural stuff. So I was running around with my camera. I have a bright good camera, and I recently got a new lens for it. So I was really excited to use that to get some really nice pictures of animals, because I could really zoom into the habitats and really get super cute shots of like smaller things that you sometimes cannot photograph very well, or the baby elephant. They had a little 2-month-old baby elephant that was born in June or July. No, it was June. So yeah, that was really cute. And then sometimes I would just quickly get my phone out and was photographing the most random stuff. It has probably looked super weird when people saw me do that, because there were like, obviously it was super full. It was on a Sunday. It was really nice weather, so the zoo was very full. And all the people were like looking into the habitats and watching the animals, and I was just like randomly looking at the roof or like some windows and taking pictures of them, of these or like fences, and not really. Of course, I took pictures of the animals with my camera, but with my phone I was photographing the most random stuff, and it has probably looked really weird. And my boyfriend was also laughing at me when he saw me do that. I was telling him before that I'm going to do that because I need inspiration for stuff like that for my Planet Zoo episodes, of course, because I just think it can get a little hard to get pictures of this stuff that is normally not super interesting for visitors, to find like inspiration or photos of these on the internet. So I just decided to take them myself. And yeah, it was a little weird, but I definitely got some good shots for stuff that I just need for myself to know how to build them or how these things look, because I find myself struggling with stuff like that, like how to make a glass roof really good and like realistic looking, if you know what I mean, when it comes to like the metal beams and how everything is connected, or like ventilation systems and windows and yeah, and like barriers and stuff like that. So I have quite a lot of photos on my phone right now that I can reference to if I need to build stuff like that. Basically everything that is outside of an habitat. And yeah, they also had a really pretty, or not just one, they had multiple like tropical houses. They were pretty small, but really beautiful. And they also had in one of them a very similar habitat to the one I'm building right now. There was also a smaller cat species house in there. I unfortunately didn't get to see the cat itself. I don't know if it's the same with you, but every time I'm in the zoo, I just don't get to see the cats. Neither the small ones nor the big ones. Like very, very rarely I can see them. Like especially with tigers. I think I've never seen a tiger actually, because every time I'm in a zoo where they also have tigers, they're just not visible. They are like probably in a backstage area or like special area where they can chill without being stared at by people. So yeah, that was really sad. But back to the exhibit that was for this small cat species. It was looking very similar. They had this like outside aviary, like I'm building in a second for here. That was like really cute. And then when you entered the tropical house, you could, or you had these glass frames similar to the ones that I built on the right hand side, and you could see the inside area from these cats. And I very much use this as a really big inspiration for this one because I was trying to keep the theme very similar. They also had painted the background in like a forest or desert, I'm not quite sure what it was right now, theme. And they had a lot of like wooden logs and beams and stuff like that to make like some climbing frames and stuff like that. So I just tried to recreate it more or less with my own little touch. Of course, it wasn't the same cat species, so I had to use some other plants. In the zoo, it was more of like a forest or tropical vibe, and here we are, of course, building a desert habitat. And make sure that the cats get a really well air circulation, I decided to make a like a fenced roof. And also because these cats can jump pretty high, I believe, and because they could technically climb fences and stuff like that, I made the roof completely like covered it completely with the fencing, and also to let the light that is coming from the glass roof so that the light can still get into the habitat really well. And of course they would still have quite a lot of shadow in there, as it's supposed to be, so that the cats can also have it a little bit cooler in the inside part compared to the outside part, but you still get natural lighting. Yeah. By the way, a question for you guys. I maybe wanted to incorporate in my videos not only, of course, the what I'm building, but also maybe some animal facts. And I was, or I wanted to ask what you guys think of it. If I just incorporate some cute or funny facts about the animals. Like for the sandcat, the sandcat can actually really successfully hunt venomous snakes. I found that really interesting. I'm myself quite a big cat person. I own 2 cats on my own, so I just love everything about cats, and I just think it's really stunning that the sand cat, it is a really small cat. I think it's the size of a normal house cat that you maybe have in your home or I have at my home. And it's really stunning that they can actually hunt venomous snakes and really effectively. And also the sand cat has like really, really furry paws, like on the underside where they have their cute little toe beans. And it is really densely furred so that they don't burn their paws in the hot sand. They normally don't really go out at the daytime or they don't hunt at the daytime because it is simply just too hot. Um, but still, they have like these really densely furred paws, so they don't burn themselves. That I found that also really interesting. And normally with like cats, they are pretty territorial, or like for the most part. I mean, some are like solitary, like the sand cat, and others are in groups or families, like the lion, for example. Um, and they are mostly very territorial as far as I know. But the sandcat actually shares like their little burrows. They have like little earth burrows where they hide and sleep in at the daytime, to get some shade and be a little bit cooler and not to be out in the sun. And they don't share it at the same time with the other sandcats, so they don't sleep in there together. But they will like occasionally switch the burrows and also use it from other cats and let other cats use their burrows. And I thought that was really cute actually, that they like share their homes with one another, not at the same time, but still I thought it was just really cute. And they just sit in their little burrow, and sometimes when they get still a little bit too hot, they will lay outside of their burrow, tummy side up, and just let the heat basically, or to cool themselves from the internal heat. That's what I read earlier today. And I thought there were some really cute facts. I actually wanted to do this little like talking about some facts or stuff like that with the porcupines, since it was also quite a long series or episode. But I kind of forgot and got lost while talking. I, of course, think of stuff before I make the voice record, what I can like say to you, or yeah, basically what to talk about, especially with longer videos. It can get a little bit hard for me to think about stuff to talk about with you. So I wanted to do that with the porcupines, but I somehow managed to just keep talking for like the 30 minutes almost, that the video is long, without even telling you some facts about them. But I think I'm gonna incorporate that a little bit into my next videos, as long as I remember doing that while doing the voice record, since I am doing it like really spontaneously. I don't have a script or something like that, so yeah. And as you can see here, we already started building the outside aviary. It is kept pretty similar to the inside part, but here I just did a solid wall in the middle, and of course covered mostly up with the faux rocks. I just personally really like the look, even though you can tell, of course, that they are faux rocks and not real ones. I just think it looks really good. It's like very commonly used in zoos, so I'm just incorporating that, you know. And of course we also have the doors, so each side has one door to go like inside and outside, and we also have doors, one on the inside and one on the outside, that can be opened and closed. The animals could also be like kept in either the outside or the inside area if they would need to be like cleaned, or they can put them into the inside shelter. So yeah, there's just many options to separate the cats and to separate the cats from the staff. I don't really know if staff can enter normally the habitat from sand cats. Of course, in game they can, but in like real zoos, I am not too sure. I couldn't find like any good resources. If you know anything, any websites where I can get pretty easily like informations about stuff like that. I know that another YouTuber called Leader, I'm not too sure how to pronounce. He did these research done episodes, and I really love them. They are pretty old. They're like anything from 1 year to 2 years ago, but I really love that because he used like real life information he gathered for stuff like how big does a habitat need to be, what is about the fencing interior, and just small details to make a habitat super realistic, and not just based on the in-game requirements, but also basically what they would need in real life, or what zoos need to consider, or like stuff like that, if they build habitats for them. And I really love this episode. I hope he's going to do more of them. So and we are already almost finished with the outside part. As I said, I kept it pretty similar. Lots of rocks and wood where the cat can technically climb around, and a lot of grasses so that the animals can also hide. I found myself struggling to find the cat sometimes in this habitat, especially when I was trying to shoot the cinematic shots. To find them was actually pretty hard sometimes. I just couldn't find them, or just one of them, and so I struggled. But I mean, it is realistic. As I said, especially cats, or like also just small animals, can be really hard to find in habitats, but I don't think that it is bad. I mean, it is realistic, as I said, and the cats also maybe want to hide a little bit from the visitors. So I just like the little detail that you can hardly find the cats actually in this habitat sometimes, because they are just really small. I'm just not used to building habitats for these like really small animals like the sandcat or the meerkats. The meerkats will also be in this desert house, so I'm excited to build also their habitat. But yeah, I just find myself seeing that the animals way smaller than expected. With the sandcat habitat, I completely built the whole habitat before I put the animals in. I tried to put at least one of them in the habitat quite early to see what the traversable area is like. But with this one, I didn't do it, and for the whole process, I was pretty scared that the traversable area would be horrible. But it is actually really good. I just had to move one or two things just slightly so they can use them, or just add a little stuff, some stuff. But yeah, it's generally really good. It also is almost perfect size for the cats, like from the in-game requirements. It's like slightly smaller than what it says in the Zoopedia, or what the animals need, but the traversable area is always so much smaller than the habitat is like in real life, or not in real life, but like, you know what I mean. The traversable area is just sometimes really bad for some animals, and you sometimes need to make a habitat way bigger than you originally planned. That what I also saw with the like porcupines. They have a really big habitat, and and it is now perfectly for four of the porcupines. And then I was looking at my other habitats that I did for like the addax and the Somali wild ass, and they were basically the same size. And I was like, this is not really good that the like addax or Somali wild ass, which are way bigger than the porcupine, have basically the same amount of like free roaming space in the habitat. So I probably need to make them a little bit bigger. But yeah, we will see how this goes. Let me know if you also have the problem with this. And yeah, we moved to the inside shelter now. And my thought for the inside shelter is, of course, that they can also be separated here. They would be fed also in the inside shelter part, and I wanted to make them have these big boxes that are like stacked on top of each other, because one of the habitats, or the one that is on the left side when you would look from the inside area, as I said, they can be separated, the left and right side. So if they are separated, the left side, or the cat in the left side, can enter the inside shelter from the door on the bottom and be in the bottom box. And the cat that is on the right side, that doesn't have like a like it's not directly connected to the inside shelter, that it can enter the inside area with like a little tunnel that I'm building right now, like a little cage tunnel that goes into the habitat on the right side and is going through the habitat on the left side, and then going into the little door that you just saw that is on or for the top box. It was a little finicky to build this. I saw like similar stuff in the zoo for like apes, I believe, also in this tropical house, but also with like other cats and stuff like that, so they can like move through the little cages, sometimes like over a some guest pathing. I saw that they can technically walk over these. So I wanted to make it similar to that and just made this little fenced tunnel that's going through the habitat and into the other side. So in case they are separated, they can still go both into the inside shelter. It was a little bit finicky, especially with the fencing, to make it really look good, but I am pretty happy with this result. It might not be like 100% perfect, but it is traversable for the cats, so they can use it, and they also use it quite frequently. I caught the cats using the tunnel and the top box way more than the lower box when I was shooting the cinematics, so I feel like they like it. So yeah, that was what I thought. Let me know what you think about this, or if you basically know if this is super realistic or not so much. I would really love to hear your opinion on that one. And it was also, of course, my attempt to make it super realistic and very, very detailed. And it was just completely something different than normally. I've never built like these kind of fence tunnel or stuff like that. I mean, it is still pretty big compared to the size of the cat. But we all know that the traversable area is sometimes weird, or the hitboxes of the animals are just super big. So I wanted to make sure that it is just big enough for them. Also, the doors that I built are, compared to the cats, like really huge. But I think if I've made them way smaller, that the cat wouldn't be able to like go through the doors. So I think it's fine. And yeah, I of course also had to kind of adjust the fencing, or the little hole that is in the fence on the like this little middle fencing part, if you know what I mean, and adjust some stuff and find a way how the cat is going to go up there. I just placed one of the like climbable logs that are in the habitat tab and use them so they can climb up there. And we are at the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you want to see more. And I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye guys!